everyone, thanks for tuning into this video where I will be touching on how much I made on Wag in my first month using it for dog walking and boarding as a side hustle. I'll touch on my overall experience, any tips and tricks I might have, and how you can get started too. I will note that I am based out of the outskirts of Los Angeles near the beaches, and there are lots of dog owners here, so there's definitely a big customer base here, and your experience might differ depending on where you're located. So let me get started and just talk about the three main reasons why I decided to start using Wag as a side hustle. The first reason is that I really do miss animals and I love animals. I grew up with a toy poodle from 3rd grade all the way until last year when she passed, and I saw dog walking and boarding as a way for me to still get that dog therapy and companionship, but without adopting one, which is not something I'm looking to do right now. Number two, of course, is side hustle. I'm looking for just to make some extra cash on the side for covering travel or the extra expenditures. And third is that I do work a full-time remote job in front of a computer, sitting every day, and I was looking for a side hustle where I could get out of the house, get some steps, get some sunlight, and dog walking really just checks off all of these boxes, really. And I will say, it's been over a month now that I've been dog walking on Wag, and it's been a really great experience so far. So let me introduce Wag. This is a platform where you can conduct on-demand services or scheduled services, and the way it works is that owners will send out requests for dog walking, drop-in, sitting, or walking, and then you as a pet caretaker will see that in your queue, and then you can request to take the job. It is kind of like a first come first serve. There's a whole algorithm that determines who gets it. You could be a preferred walker, which means that you walked the dog previously, the owner likes you, and they marked you as preferred, so you actually get priority. And there's also a few other details that go into the algorithm. But yeah, that's how it works. It's pretty straightforward, I would say. And then you might have heard of Rover, which is the other platform in this space. That's a little different, where owners will reach out to you after looking through your profile and start the conversation with you. You might do meet and greets. It's definitely takes more effort, I would say, to get that job through Rover. But you do create stronger bonds, I would say, with the pet owner. Wag is more of a just Uber. And I actually did start with Rover 2 years ago when I wanted to try this out. It was about a $25 fee back then to do the background check. But I realized I wasn't getting many requests really. And my job was also not remote. So I was only open for dog walking, but I didn't get any requests. So I kind of let that die down. But then recently wanted to try this side hustle out again. And that's when I tried out Wag. At this point, it was a $50 fee to do the background check, which is kind of hefty, but I did make that back within the first week. So it paid itself off. And as for the cut, Rover takes 20%, but Wag does take 40% roughly, which is a pretty big amount, but it was much easier to get dog walking jobs on Wag. So now let's jump into the meat of this video, which is talking about how much I made. To this date, it's been a little more than a month, but I've done about 13 services. 11 walks, 1 sitting, and 1 boarding. I'm actually doing the boarding right now, so I haven't really been paid for that, but I'll just touch on how much I would get. So let me first cover how much I get paid for each service. So Wag does give you these ranges that you can choose from. It's between $26.55 to $44.25, but if you have Wag Pro, which is a lifetime subscription, I guess, to their premium, you would get a higher range, but you do have to pay about $130 for that. I don't have that, and I'm not planning on buying that anytime soon. And in the beginning, Wag sets you at the midway point of the range. They say that they've calculated this based on the caretakers in your area. But after the first week, I realized I wanted to just try maxing it out, and I did, and I didn't really see much of a difference in getting jobs. So not really sure if there's a big difference in what rate you do. I'm going to guess that most caretakers max it out anyways, because there's really not much of a difference. I set my boarding rates at $44.25 and an additional $30 for each additional pet. For walking, a 20-minute walk is $10.89, 30-minute walk $14.52, and 60-minute walk $21.78. For sitting, this is where you would go to the parent's house, maybe stay nights, but you would just take care of their pet while living there, really. It's $29.25 per night and $18 for each additional pet. And finally, for drop-ins, this is where you might just drop into the house, let the dog out to the backyard, feed it, things like that. It would be $10.89 for a 20-minute, $14.52 for 30-minute, and $21.78 for a 60-minute drop-in. Drop-ins are a bit more common for cats since you don't really need to take them out on walks, but they do have them for dogs as well. And of course, on top of all this, the owner can choose to tip you. I have seen maybe starting from $2 to $3 and up to really high rates of tips. So it really depends on the owner, but they generally do tip at least a little bit. Now, let me just walk you through my walks. So on my first week on the app, I walked a total of 3 dogs and I got a total of 70.35. This was a 30-minute walk, 20-minute walk, and a sitting. I will say that sitting isn't really worth it in my opinion. After that one sitting, I decided not to do it again because I felt like I had to just stay there and I couldn't really do much because it wasn't my home. Yes, I could work, but I couldn't really focus. And there's cameras usually set up in the house, so you are on watch. So yeah, I would say sitting's not really worth it, but the dog walks are decent. 30-minute walks are definitely a bit more worth it. In my second week, I made a total of $59.93. Here I did 3 walks. One was a 30-minute walk, the other was a 20-minute walk, and the last one was a 30-minute walk for 2 dogs. I will note that for 2 dogs, this was kind of hard. Fortunately, I went with my boyfriend and he was able to walk one dog while I walked the other, but they were both big dogs. And after that experience, I realized that I'm not going to take on 2 dog walks, especially if they're big, by myself, because it can get hard to keep track of them both and not just get dragged. And while you're walking, you do need to be really present, making sure they don't go on the street, they don't chase after things. You're picking up their poop, taking pictures as well to send through the app. So it really is a lot of responsibility that you have to be aware of. And then in my third week, actually I took a break this week. I was a little busy, so I decided not to take any walks. So I'm going to skip a week here, and then the week after, I did only 2 walks, and I made a total of 30.78. These dogs were both really sweet, and I actually got a direct scheduled service. So Lola, I walked her in my second week, and the owner really liked me, so she specifically requested my time and scheduled a time with me. I could accept it or not, but I just communicated with her my schedule, and she schedules for me whenever she knows that I'm available, which is really nice. And I really like walking Lola. And then for last week, actually, I made a total of 64.82. I had 4 walks this week, or this last week. 2 were 20-minute walks, and then the other 2 were 30-minute walks. And actually, 2 of them were the same dog. This dog only lives like a 3-minute walk away from me. So whenever I see him pop up, I go for it immediately. The owner also has me as a preferred walker, so I get notifications for that, which is really nice. And he's really sweet. And then I'm not done with this boarding yet, but right now I'm boarding this small Maltese dog for 9 days, 9 nights. The owner also requested a pickup for $30, so I actually went to her house, which was only a 10-minute drive away, picked up her supplies, and her, of course, and then brought her back. And for 9 nights, it would be $428.25, and that's also including the pickup, and then tip however much the owner wants to tip. I don't really know that right now. So in total, I made about $600 in 45 weeks of being on the app. This is not including the tip that the boarding parent may or may not give me, and I'm also not done with boarding just yet, but almost. So really made $600 this month. I'm very happy with that. I think the side hustle has been really rewarding to me in more ways than just the money. I have had mostly positive experiences, and I've loved some of the dogs I walked. They're usually just really happy and grateful to go on a walk, and I myself am happy and grateful to be able to hang out with dogs, get some fresh air, and make some extra cash. So if you love animals, want to get some exercise in, want to make some extra cash, I would say doing Wag or Rover is a great side hustle to try out. For myself, I probably will keep walking dogs if I see good ones. I'm a little selective about which dogs I walk, based on notes from previous caretakers, their location, because you have to factor in the driving time, and their size, since I can't really handle too big of a dog. And there was not enough time to go in depth on all tips and tricks and my experiences on this app, so I hope to create more videos covering that, and also a beginner's guide on how you can get started too. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.